Hi, this is Mark Cuban. This is actually me.
There are many rich people out there in the world right now, but there are few as eccentric and approachable, if you will, than Mark Cuban. Here is a man who is willing to dress up in a suit when he needs to, but would prefer to be in a t-shirt and jeans. He's a guy who is always forward-thinking and is constantly dipping his fingers into a lot of different pies to see if he can expand upon something, and his life has been quite a trip, as he'd be happy to tell you. Allow us to show you Mark Cuban, then and now. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The early life of Mark Cuban. Cuban was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His father, Norton Cuban, was an automobile upholsterer. Cuban has described his mother, Shirley, as someone with a different job or different career goal every other week. He grew up in the Pittsburgh suburb of Mount Lebanon, in a Jewish working-class family. His paternal grandfather changed the family name from Chabanisky to Cuban after his family emigrated from Russia through Ellis Island. His maternal grandparents, who were also Jewish, came from Romania. Cuban's first step into business occurred at age 12, when he sold garbage bags to pay for a pair of expensive basketball shoes. Some years later, he earned money by selling stamps and coins. At age 16, Cuban took advantage of a Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike by running newspapers from Cleveland to Pittsburgh. As you can see, he was rather savvy even back then. Instead of attending high school for his senior year, he enrolled as a full-time student at the University of Pittsburgh, where he joined the Pi Lambda Phi International Fraternity. He is a beloved fan of Pittsburgh's NFL team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. After 1 year at the University of Pittsburgh, he transferred to Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, and graduated from the Kelley School of Business in 1981 with a Bachelor of Science degree in management. He chose Indiana's Kelley School of Business without even visiting the campus, because it had the least expensive tuition of all the business schools on the top 10 list. Which might seem odd, but wouldn't you rather pay the least amount to get a good education? During college, he had various business ventures, including a bar, disco lessons, and a chain letter. After graduating, he went back to his hometown in Pennsylvania and took a job with Mellon Bank and immersed himself in the study of machines and networking. The early business life of Mark Cuban. Being worth $4.3 billion and having one of the most recognizable names in the world would definitely lead you to believe that Mark Cuban is untouchable when it comes to his businesses and ventures, right? Well, eventually, I had quit or been fired from 3 straight jobs, he said on an episode of Shark Tank one time, and that's definitely not what you would have expected from someone like Cuban. But it's true, and his road to success was much like everyone else's who has ever built themselves up from the ground up. As noted, Cuban went to work at Mellon Bank and was converting the paper processes to the computer system. While he was there, he started a newsletter and a happy hour group where younger employees could talk with senior executives. However, his boss didn't like the initiative. He told me I was never to go over him or around him or he'd crush me, he wrote in a Forbes essay. I knew then it was time to get out of there. From there, Cuban went to work at a TV repair franchise called Tronix 2000 in Indiana, but eventually headed to Dallas, where he moved into a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 other people. Again, not what you would expect from a man who would eventually be worth billions.
You know, I got the corners, the crevices. I mean, I didn't have my own bed, I didn't have my own closet.
And one of his first true business ventures wasn't what you would think, as he tried to make a business with powdered milk. And it didn't go well. I honestly thought it would make a killer business, and it lasted minutes, Cuban reportedly said about the business. After that, he got a job at a PC software company called Your Business Software, making $18,000 a year plus commission. About 9 months in, I got an opportunity to make a $15,000 sale, he wrote. I was going to make a $1,500 commission, which was enormous. It would have allowed me to move out of the apartment and maybe have a bed. He told his boss about it, and his boss told him not to go and close the deal. But Cuban did it anyway to show initiative. And then he got fired. However, he called that the determining factor in my business life. which was good because it was around then that things started to work for him on many levels. Startup successes. Cuban decided to start a PC consulting company called Micro Solutions, which he eventually sold to CompuServe for $6 million, according to Entrepreneur. From there, he founded Broadcast.com, an internet radio company that was acquired by Yahoo in 1999 for $5.7 billion, and by 2000, he was able to buy a majority stake in the Dallas Mavericks, whom we'll get to in a bit. In his 2011 book, How to Win at the Sport of Business, he wrote, "It doesn't matter how many times you strike out. In business, to be a success, you only have to be right once. One single time and you are set for life. That's the beauty of the business world." And he took the success of that business and put that money to work into other ventures he liked. Other businesses Cuban owns include the theater chain Landmark Theaters, private messaging app Cyberdust, and an apparel company called 3 Commas, inspired by the fact that there are 3 commas in $1 billion. But of course, there are 2 things that people really associate with Mark Cuban, starting with the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, when it comes to the NBA, you usually don't know the names of the owners of the franchises outside of maybe the one for the team you like. But with Mark Cuban, he's a totally different cat. And when he bought a majority share of the Mavericks in 2000, he turned things around in a hurry. In the 10 years following his purchase, the team won 69% of their regular season games and reached the playoffs in each of those seasons except for one. The Mavericks' playoff record with Cuban isn't the best, but under his guiding hand, they were able to bring in key players like Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd, and more to help take the Mavericks to the NBA Finals twice, including an upset victory over the Miami Heat, who were led by LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. What makes Mark Cuban such a different kind of NBA owner is that he doesn't go and relax in an owner's box. He gets himself a front row seat alongside fans and dresses in t-shirts, jerseys, and jeans so he can be a part of the experience alongside those fans. Cuban is a bit infamous for the fines he gets, but he not only pays them, he goes and makes an equal amount of donations to charities to show how he turns this bad situation into a good one. Now, as for the other thing people know Mark Cuban for, Shark Tank. Mark Cuban wasn't always on Shark Tank. He was actually brought in during season 2, and he has made his presence felt in the best ways possible in terms of not just the show, but how people view him. Because while it's true he's the lovable owner of the Mavericks who will go and do TV and movie appearances, on Shark Tank, he can show and prove just how savvy a businessman he is. Since Cuban joined the show in 2011, the ratings for Shark Tank have increased. And also during his tenure, the show has won 3 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Structured Reality Program from 2014 to 2016. As of 2018, Cuban was the second richest of all sharks to appear on the show at $4.1 billion, after Richard Branson at $5.1 billion. A lot of people tune in to see Cuban, and that shows a lot about how he works. Other aspects of Mark Cuban. This is truly only touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all that Mark Cuban has done. He has invested in many different ventures over the years, and his charity work is phenomenal. Not to mention, he's done TV and movie appearances with shows like Fast and Loud, Sharknado 3, and more, where he plays, well, himself. Who else would he be? But as you can see, Mark Cuban has had to work hard to go and get what he wants, and he's reaping the rewards of it. It wasn't always easy, but he stuck to what he knew could work, who he wanted to be, and now he's a rich, very well-known man who still has a lot of time to grow his businesses and wealth. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the various elements of Mark Cuban's life, and how they influenced him then, and how he is now in terms of being worth over $4 billion? Are you surprised by some of the life or business choices that he made that led him to being where he is now? Do you think that he's one of the coolest rich people out there right now? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.